You're here now, and there's nothing you need to do. You don't need to listen closely. You don't need to stay awake. Just let your body begin to rest. Somewhere far above you, the Milky Way is slowly drifting. But right here, everything is calm. Your breathing can soften. Your thoughts can come and go. Nothing needs your attention. For the next 30 minutes, I'll stay here with you. You can let the universe move while you sleep. As you continue to rest, you may notice how effortless it feels to simply be here. There's nowhere you need to go, nothing waiting for you, nothing to solve. Above you, far beyond the noise of everyday life, the Milky Way is moving at its own quiet pace. Stars drifting, galaxies turning, all without urgency. And you don't need to follow any of it. Your body already knows how to rest. Your breathing already knows its rhythm. Each gentle breath out allows a little more weight to sink into the surface beneath you. If thoughts appear, you don't need to push them away. Just let them float past, like distant lights. Moving across a dark sky, there is no need to hold on, no need to remember, no need to listen carefully. You can rest even while these words continue. Somewhere in the vastness of space, billions of stars are quietly burning, unchanging, steady, calm. And here, in this moment, you are just as supported. Your shoulders can soften, your jaw can loosen. Even the small muscles around your eyes can begin to relax. Nothing bad is about to happen. Nothing is being asked of you. The universe has existed for a very long time, and it will continue to move gently, whether you are awake or asleep, so you can allow yourself to drift. Imagine yourself floating peacefully, not moving, not falling, just suspended in calm. The Milky Way slowly turns around you, fast and quiet, like a slow, endless tide. You don't need to imagine it clearly. A vague sense is enough. Even that can fade. Each breath out can feel a little longer now, a little softer, and with every exhale, your body settles more deeply into rest. There is nothing you could miss, nothing you need to catch. Sleep can come whenever it wants, and if sleep hasn't arrived yet, that's perfectly fine too. This time is still doing its work. The steady motion of the universe continues, calm and predictable, while your mind becomes quieter, less interested in holding on to thoughts. You are safe in the stillness. You are allowed to let go. And as the Milky Way keeps moving, slow and distant, you can rest here, supported, unhurried, drifting naturally towards sleep. You may notice now that the spaces between thoughts are growing longer, moments of quiet stretching gently without effort. There's no need to fill those spaces, no need to think of anything at all. The slow movement of the Milky Way continues, far beyond time, far beyond concern. Stars passing silently one after another, like distant, steady breaths. And here, your own breathing can follow that same rhythm, in and out, unhurried, natural. If your mind wanders, it can wander peacefully. If it becomes still, that is welcome too. Nothing needs to change. Your body is doing exactly what it needs to do. The weight of your arms can feel heavier now. Your legs resting fully, supported, at ease. Even your thoughts can begin to feel heavier, slower, less important. They can fade without being finished. The universe does not rush. It never has. Galaxies turn over millions of years, patient, quiet, unconcerned. You are allowed to move at that same pace. There is no schedule here, no expectation, no goal to reach, only rest. Breathing in, softly, breathing out, even softer. Each exhale loosening your body a little more, as if gravity itself has become gentler. If sleep comes now, you don't need to notice it. You don't need to mark the moment. You can simply drift from waking into rest without effort. And if you are still awake, that's perfectly fine. These words can become background, like distant stars you no longer focus on. The Milky Way keeps moving, slow and constant, circling quietly around you. And you can remain here, floating, supported, wrapped in calm. Nothing needs your attention anymore. Rest can deepen on its own. The sense of time can begin to soften now. Minutes no longer need to feel distinct. They can blend together like stars too distant to count. Your awareness can drift in and out without needing to stay anchored to any one thought. The Milky Way continues its quiet motion, slow and endless, unconcerned with direction. And you, right here, can rest within that motion. Breathing becomes almost automatic now, so natural you don't need to follow it. Your body feels heavier, as if it has decided it no longer needs to hold itself up. The surface beneath you supports every part of you completely. There is no tension left to manage, no alertness required. If images appear, they can be soft and undefined. Shadows of light, hints of movement. They don't need clarity. They don't need meaning. The universe does not demand focus. It simply exists. And you are allowed to simply exist as well. Your mind can grow quieter, less interested in forming sentences, less interested in finishing ideas. Thoughts may slow until they dissolve before they fully appear. That is a sign of rest, deepening. The Milky Way drifts on, a gentle, distant presence, while your inner world becomes more spacious. Nothing pulls you forward. Nothing calls you back. There is only this calm, stretching softly in all directions. If you wake briefly, that's okay. If you drift deeply, that's okay too. This space remains the same. Breathing in, barely noticeable. Breathing out, even less so. Your body remembers how to sleep. It has done this many times before. There's nothing new to learn, nothing to improve. Just rest, layer by layer, becoming deeper, quieter, slower. The Milky Way continues to move, steady and distant, as you float gently within this calm. The need to follow words can gently fall away now. These sounds don't need to be understood. They can simply pass through like distant light. Your body rests as if it has always known this exact position. Nothing feels urgent. Nothing asks for response. The Milky Way continues its slow turning, far beyond thought, far beyond effort. And your mind can become just as wide, just as quiet. Breathing happens on its own. A soft rise, a soft fall. No beginning, no end. If awareness drifts, let it drift. If it fades, let it fade. There is no moment you need to notice. Your muscles are loose now. Your face relaxed. Your forehead smooth and still. Even the sense of you can begin to soften, becoming lighter, less defined, like floating without edges. The universe holds everything without effort, and you are held in the same way. Thoughts no longer need words, images no longer need form, only calm remains. Long stretches of quiet can appear between breaths. That quiet is safe. Nothing interrupts it. Nothing breaks it. The Milky Way keeps moving, slow and patient, while sleep deepens naturally. You don't need to fall asleep. You don't need to stay asleep. Rest happens whether you notice or not. Time becomes less important now. Minutes stretch and dissolve. There's no place to arrive, no point to reach. Only drifting, only stillness. And if at any moment you become slightly aware again, these words will still be here, steady and calm, guiding you gently back. The universe does not change its pace. It remains slow, predictable, quiet. And you can remain here, resting within that quiet, floating comfortably as sleep continues to deepen. There is very little to notice now. Words can fade into simple sound, and even that can soften. Your body rests deeply, without adjustment, without effort. The Milky Way moves on, quiet and distant, unchanged, and you remain supported, undisturbed. Breathing is barely felt, just a gentle rhythm far in the background, in and out. Nothing more is needed. If awareness appears, it appears gently. If it disappears just as gently. There is no difference. The mind is no longer busy, no longer reaching, no longer organizing. Thought has slowed to a near stillness. The universe holds steady, vast and calm, and you are held in that same calm. Long stretches of silence can pass between these words. Those spaces are intentional. They are safe. Sleep can deepen there, without interruption. The Milky Way continues its slow turning, far away, almost imagined, and you float without direction, without weight. Nothing needs correction. Nothing needs attention. If the night continues on, it continues gently. If dreams come and go, they can do so quietly. You do not need to follow them. Rest remains constant. The sound of this voice can drift further into the distance, becoming part of the quiet. There is no reason to listen closely, no reason to wake. Only rest, only calm. The universe keeps moving, steady and unhurried, while you remain here, asleep or nearly asleep, safe within this stillness. Nothing needs to change now. The calm remains steady and quiet, holding you gently without effort. Your breathing continues on its own, slow and soft, barely noticeable. Your body stays heavy and relaxed, fully supported, settled into rest. Thoughts no longer need words. They soften, then fade before becoming clear. The Milky Way continues its distant motion, slow and unhurried, far beyond attention. Time feels loose and unimportant. Moments blend together without edges. If awareness appears briefly, it can drift away again just as gently. Nothing pulls you back. Nothing asks you to wake. The quiet stays the same, safe and constant, and you can continue to sleep, peaceful and undisturbed, resting within this stillness. Nothing needs to happen now. Nothing needs to change. This quiet moment can stretch gently, without direction, without effort. Your body already knows how to remain at rest. Breathing continues on its own, slow and easy, without needing attention. There is no reason to listen closely. These words can become distant, like a soft background hum. The universe continues its calm movement, steady and unhurried, far beyond thought, and you remain here, supported completely, undisturbed. Your muscles stay loose and relaxed. Your shoulders are soft. Your jaw remains unclenched. Even the small muscles around your eyes can stay smooth and still. Thoughts are no longer forming clearly. They appear briefly, then dissolve before becoming meaningful. That is natural. That is rest deepening. The sense of time begins to loosen. Minutes no longer feel separate. They blend together quietly, without edges. Your breathing finds its own rhythm. A gentle rise, a gentle fall. No effort required. If awareness drifts in, it drifts gently. If it fades just as gently. There is no difference. The Milky Way continues its distant motion, slow and constant, far beyond concern. Stars move quietly, without urgency, without sound, and you can rest in that same way. Your body feels heavy, comfortably settled, as if gravity itself has softened. The surface beneath you supports every part of you fully. There is nothing to hold up, nothing to adjust. Nothing needs your attention. Thoughts no longer need words. Images no longer need form. Everything can remain vague, undefined, easy. Long spaces of quiet can appear between these words. Those spaces are safe. They allow rest to deepen naturally. The universe does not rush. It never has. Galaxies turn slowly, patiently, over vast stretches of time. You are allowed to move at that same pace. There is no schedule here, no expectation, no goal to reach, only rest. Breathing in, barely noticeable. Breathing out, even softer. Each breath out allows your body to sink a little deeper into stillness. If sleep comes fully now, you do not need to notice it. If it comes later, that is just as fine. This moment is doing its work. Either way, the sound of this voice can drift further into the background, becoming less distinct, less important. You do not need to follow it. The Milky Way continues its slow turning, far away, almost imagined, and you float without direction, without weight. Nothing pulls you forward, nothing calls you back. Only calm remains. Time becomes less meaningful now. Moments stretch, then dissolve. There is no before, there is no after. Only this steady quiet. If awareness returns briefly, it returns softly, without urgency, and it can fade again just as easily. There is no alertness required. Your body remembers how to sleep. It has done this many times before. There is nothing new to learn, nothing to improve. Just rest, layer by layer, becoming quieter, slower, deeper. The universe continues its gentle motion, steady and predictable, and you remain here, safe within this stillness. Breathing continues naturally. Your heart beats quietly, without effort. Everything functions as it should, without instruction. Thought has slowed to a near stillness. No need to finish ideas. No need to complete sentences. Even the sense of you can soften, becoming lighter, less defined, like floating without edges. The quiet holds steady. Nothing interrupts it. Sleep deepens on its own, without being guided, without being forced. The Milky Way moves on, vast and distant, while your inner world becomes simpler and quieter. There is nothing you could miss, nothing you need to catch. Rest continues whether you notice it or not, and you can remain here, peaceful and undisturbed, as the universe keeps moving, slow and unhurried, holding the stillness exactly as it is. The stillness remains unchanged, quiet and steady, holding everything gently. Nothing new needs to begin, nothing needs to finish. Your body continues resting without effort, without adjustment. Breathing moves slowly, softly, as if it barely needs to move at all. You do not need to follow it. It knows its way. Thoughts no longer arrive fully formed. They appear as faint impressions, then fade again, leaving no trace. That is perfectly natural. The Milky Way continues its distant motion, slow and constant, far beyond awareness. Stars drift quietly, never rushing, never pausing, and you remain here, supported, undisturbed. Time feels wide and open now. Moments stretch gently, then dissolve. There's no sense of passing, no need to count, only rest continuing. Your body feels comfortably heavy, as if it has settled exactly where it belongs. Nothing pulls at your attention. Nothing asks for response. The quiet stays the same. If awareness surfaces briefly, it does so softly, without urgency. And when it fades again, it fades naturally, like a ripple smoothing. There is no alertness required. The universe does not change its pace. It remains slow, patient, predictable. You are allowed to remain just as still. Breathing flows in the background, gentle and even. A subtle rise, a subtle fall. No beginning, no end. Your muscles remain loose and relaxed. Your shoulders stay soft. Your jaw rests easily. Even the smallest areas of tension have no reason to return. Thought no longer needs language. Images no longer need shape. Everything can remain vague, unformed, easy. Long spaces of silence can exist between these words. Those spaces are intentional. They are safe. Sleep deepens naturally there, without interruption. The Milky Way continues its quiet turning, barely imagined now, almost forgotten. And you float within this calm, without direction, without weight. There is nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to prepare for. This moment stands on its own. Your body continues doing exactly what it needs to do, without guidance. Rest unfolds at its own pace. The sound of this voice can fade further into the distance, becoming part of the quiet. You do not need to listen. You do not need to notice. Only rest remains. Time loses its structure. Minutes no longer feel separate. They blend together gently. There is no before. There is no after. Only the steady calm. If dreams begin to form, they can drift freely. If they dissolve, nothing is lost. The night continues softly. The universe moves as it always has, slow and unhurried, holding everything evenly, and you remain here, asleep or nearly asleep, safe within the stillness. Breathing remains effortless. The body remains settled. Nothing interrupts this quiet. Nothing needs to. The Milky Way drifts on, far beyond thought, far beyond concern, and rest continues unchanged, unbroken. You are held without effort. You are supported without condition. The stillness stays exactly the same. The quiet does not change. It remains steady, unchallenged, undisturbed. Nothing new needs to arrive. Nothing needs to leave. Your body stays at rest, held comfortably, without effort. Breathing continues in the background, slow and subtle, almost unnoticed. It does not need guidance. It does not need awareness. Thoughts are faint now, appearing only as soft impressions, then dissolving again before becoming clear. There is no need to follow them. The Milky Way continues its distant motion, slow and constant, far beyond attention. Stars drift quietly, patient and unhurried, unchanging. And you remain here, settled deeply, supported completely. Time feels open and wide. Moments stretch gently, then fade into one another. There is no sense of passing, no need to keep track. Only rest continuing exactly as it is. Your body feels heavy in the best way, fully settled, at ease. Nothing calls you back. Nothing pulls you forward. The quiet holds steady. If awareness appears briefly, it does so softly, without urgency. And when it fades again, it fades naturally, leaving calm behind. There is no alertness required. The universe does not change its pace. It remains slow, predictable, patient. You are allowed to remain just as still. Breathing flows gently, a quiet rise, a quiet fall. No beginning, no ending. Your muscles remain loose. Your shoulders stay soft. Your jaw rests easily. Even the smallest areas of tension have no reason to return. Thought no longer needs language. Images no longer need shape. Everything can remain vague, unformed, simple. Long spaces of silence exist naturally here. Those spaces are safe. They allow rest to deepen on its own. The Milky Way continues its slow turning, barely imagined now, almost forgotten. And you float within this calm, without direction, without weight. There is nothing to remember, nothing to prepare for. This moment stands quietly on its own. Your body continues doing exactly what it needs to do, without instruction. Rest unfolds gently, layer by layer. The sound of this voice can drift even further away, becoming part of the quiet. You do not need to listen. You do not need to notice. Only calm remains. Time loosens completely. Minutes no longer separate themselves. They blend together softly. There is no before. There is no after. Only stillness. If dreams appear, they can come lightly. If they fade, nothing changes. The night continues peacefully. The universe moves as it always has, slow and unhurried, holding everything evenly, and you remain here, asleep or nearly asleep, safe within this stillness. Breathing remains effortless. The body remains settled. Nothing interrupts this quiet. Nothing needs to. The Milky Way drifts on, far beyond thought, far beyond concern, and rest continues, unchanged, unbroken. You are held without effort. You are supported without condition. The stillness stays exactly the same. The voice fades into quiet. The universe moves on, and your rest continues undisturbed. Good night.